G'day, that's Slot Car Guy here, and welcome back to the Slot Car Review. And we are talking 3D printed slot cars, and the good people from the Area 71 have sent me one of their kits, and it's got me thinking, in this box, is this the future of slot cars? I don't know. Stick around, let's unbox it together and have a chat about 3D printed slot cars. So welcome back to the Slot Car Review, and yes, we are talking 3D printed slot cars, and a massive thank you to the Area 71 who have sent me their latest print of the Nissan Skyline R34 GTR V-Spec. And I do say it's the latest print because they do have an older print, but we'll get into that in a tick. Who is the Area 71? Well, they're an Italian company established in 2014 who obviously are printing their own 3D slot car kits. I think that's pretty cool, and I've been excited to do this video because this may be the way we move forward in the future when it comes to slot car printing and also the hobby in general, any hobby in general. But we'll get to that in a second because I do want to do a quick unboxing and show you what you get when you purchase the Godzilla. Now, I did say it's the newer print of the older version, and I'm not going to get into any tech specs here because I will get it wrong, but this is lighter, this is stronger and easier to prep and paint than the older version. Well, let me tell you, that wasn't that hard to paint, prep, and also it is extremely strong. And trust me, I have smashed it and bashed it around the track. But what do you get inside? When you purchase the GTR, what do you get inside? So let's do a quick unboxing. I'll show you the parts and pieces. Of course, comes in a standard box, which I don't mind because it's essentially a white kit without being white. So let's remove the box. Now, quick disclaimer before we move forward. This may not be for everyone because you do need to do some work to get this car ready and racing. Yes, you can run it in its raw form, but if you want this to look like a car that you've owned or a car that you like, you will have to paint, prep, and also do decals and everything else in between. And there is no moving parts in these kits. So you will have to finish the car off with some components from Slot It, which I'll talk about in the tick. But that's okay. I could, well, mine came out okay. If I can do it, I think anyone can do it. But what do you get inside? Let's have a quick look. And of course, I'm a huge Stadium fan. And this is the beauty of 3D printing. I now have a R34 Skyline GTR V-Spec in my hand. Now, I did say these are lighter and stronger, but I'm not joking when I'm talking about how strong these are. Now, yes, quality, we want quality and detail. Now I'm going to do a quick zoom on that. This has got everything that resembles an R34 Skyline. We've got the hot plate lights at the rear. We've got the indicator markings. We've got the single air scoop on the bonnet. It's got all the detail that you need for a GTR Skyline. Yes, you've got to paint and prep it, but can you do this with a traditional slot car? Can you twist the body without making it snap? And to me, when I first did this, felt very, very weird. But take a look at that. It is so strong, and this is digitally printed. And I will put a video at the end of this video of what machines they are using to print these. It's very, very, very cool. Of course, they print the shell and they print the chassis, but this is where it does get a little bit exciting because the components that you're going to use on this car are high quality. Now, I use to finish off the GTR, I use the CH110 motor mount, or the motor pod, which I took directly from my Porsche 956 Jägermeister, including its axles, its spur gear, its pinion, its front axle, all fits completely perfectly inside this chassis. And I will show you the finished version. What else do you get? Of course, you get the cockpit, this is all digital printed cockpit. You get the window inserts, some rim inserts, you get the helmet, and a couple other bits and bobs to finish the outside of the car. Now, while we're talking the chassis, I'll take the lid off this one. And this is what a finished chassis looks like. And of course, I did use the CH110 and all the components from my Porsche 956 Slot It. Very, very cool. Fits perfectly, goes really well. And of course, if you've driven Slot It before, you know the components that you're putting in there are very high quality, and you get to finish off the car how you like. So again, this may not be for everyone because you do have to do a lot of work into this car to get it looking good and going good. So there you have it, the 3D printed chassis and shell. And I thought to myself, I can't be the only person thinking that this may be the future of slot cars. So I thought I'll ask a couple of YouTube friends of mine, and you may know him. If you don't, please subscribe to him. But this person, this legend, I do not have to introduce because you already know who he is. But it's the undisputed king of slot cars. It's the man with the news. It's Dave Kennedy. Mate, what's your thoughts on 3D printing?
Hey, Travis. Thanks for asking me to weigh in on where I think 3D printing is going to take us, I guess. I do think that definitely 3D printing has come a long way. And I'll just say right up front, I think it absolutely is the way forward for especially smaller production run cars, cars that don't have a lot of liveries available, more unique cars. And I think what you'll see is in the future, companies will start to offer their own 3D printed cars. Again, it may be a very limited appeal car that they do this with initially, but I do think sometime in the next few years, we will see that happen. We will see a major manufacturer offer their own first 3D printed car. I think until then, you'll have the smaller companies, the more kind of boutique companies like Area 71 offer their own 3D printed cars. I think you'll see more of that soon. I do think you'll see the availability of chassis and other kind of niche parts increase. And I think this is a great topic. Thanks for asking me to weigh in. I absolutely think this is pretty much key to the hobbyists getting the cars they really want, especially the really kind of oddball one-off livery cars, or, well, really any car. If you can design a slot car, if you can use CAD, you're going to be, and you're a slot car guy, I think you're going to be able to make some money if you have a special project that you do. And I think it's absolutely the way of the future. Thanks, Travis, and thanks for asking me my opinion, and my pleasure to participate in your first kind of discussion video here.
Thanks for that, Dave. And I thought I couldn't stop there, so I had to ask a couple of other YouTubers. And of course, I couldn't pass up the man with the hands. He's the craftiest YouTuber that I know. It is Boons Slot Car Garage. Mate, what's your thoughts on 3D printed slot cars or 3D printing in general?
Hi, Trav. What do I think about 3D printing? Quite honestly, I think 3D printing is awesome. It really is. I mean, the stuff that we can do with a printer as far as creating cars that are probably not going to be created through the major manufacturers is huge, huge. Let alone the chassis we can build, different wheels we can build. And this is something now that we have right in our homes. So 3D printing is a major benefit to the hobby. And I believe it's going to help push the hobby to that next level. I don't even think we've even tapped into the potential of 3D printing yet, as far as what it's going to do to the slot car hobby as a whole. Not only with the car portions of it, but with scenery. I mean, the things that I can do with a printer for scenery is just, it's mind-blowing. It really is. It's mind-blowing. But no, great question. And I see nothing but benefit when it comes to 3D printing for slot cars.
Thanks, Booney. I really appreciate that, mate. And last but not least, he is the legend from Canada. He's the man with the intros. He's a very funny YouTuber, but he's also a very good friend of mine and a great collector and an ambassador of this hobby. MP Slot Car Space, mate, what is your thoughts on 3D printing?
Oh, hey there, Trav. 3D printed cars? Well, I do think it is the future of slot car racing. I've seen some of these Area 71 cars, and they just look phenomenal. I unfortunately don't own one just yet, but from what I've seen, they're extremely lightweight, extremely durable, which is great for slot car racing, and the level of detail is just insane. I guess because you don't have to make separate molds for all these little detailed parts. With 3D printing, you don't need to do that. So they look very amazing, and I'm very excited for what the future holds with 3D printing and slot cars. And maybe even making cars that don't exist in other companies that we want that are not available. So I think the opportunities are endless. I'm very excited. And yeah, 2 thumbs up on this side for 3D printing. I guess that's it.
So there you have it, a couple of my YouTuber mates weighing in on the topic, is 3D printing the way of the future for our hobby, but hobbies in general? And of course, I have to add my 2 cents, and 2 major benefits I see if we go down the direction of 3D printing is costs. The traditional way of making a slot car is very expensive, and you need a high turnover of that unit or that slot car for that company or manufacturer to make a profit. And we want them to make a profit, so they're here for my generation and the next generation, and this hobby keeps on growing. options. 3D printing are going to give us cars that we've never seen before, accessories, and the first thing that comes to mind is I wish I could drive my first car that I had when I was younger as a slot car. But of course, my first car will never be made the traditional way because of cost and unit turnover. So that's a huge benefit for us in our hobby and any other hobby. But I've got to give a massive hat off to the Area 71 because their company is structured around 3D printing. So hat off to you guys. The quality of this stuff is there. It is a really good product. And if you are interested in Australia and you want to pick up an Area 71 product, please check out Slot Shops here in Australia. He gets these kits in. Check him out. Really good local seller. Of course, support your local. A massive thank you to my three legends who jumped in and weighed up on the 3D printed topic. But as always, at That Slot Car Guy on Instagram and YouTube, please hit the comments. What's your thoughts? Should we go 3D printed or do we stay the traditional way? I'd love to hear your thoughts. And please share this video because I think it's very important that we start talking about the future of this hobby because in 10 years' time, where will we be? Who knows? But as always, take care. Ciao.